F It List by director Mark S. Allen, starring actress Alison Gorski as Amy, is now available on demand. You can find it. It's actually on Amazon. It's on Prime Video on Amazon. It's in theaters, but it came out on Valentine's Day. For all of you looking for something new to watch on Valentine's Day, this is a film you want to check out. Mark is not here, but Alison Gorski is joining us here. And Mark is also joining us on the show. Mark, good to see you. And Alison,
hello.
You. Congratulations on the film.
Thank you so much.
That's great. Mark, how's it going? You've got your digital background, I see. My internet it's hailing in Pasadena. My internet's, I'm doing the best I can. I'm tethered to my phone. Yeah, hailing in Pasadena. Pretty crazy. But
anybody?
Mark can't hear us.
Thumbs up if you hear me.
We
can hear you, but
we can hear you. You can't hear us.
You guys
can't hear us.
Cool. All right. Well, come back when you can hear us. I'll bring you back. But Alison, tell us, how did you get involved in the film?
Hi. Yeah. Thank you for having me. How did I get involved in the film? I did a film with Mark and the producer of this film, Howard Bird, about, like 4 years ago, called 616 Wilford Lane. It was like an independent horror movie that we shot up in NorCal. And I was in that and had a really great time and built a relationship with them. And so when they wrote this script and came to me with it, I was just really excited. And I read it and I fell in love with the character. And yeah. That's how I got involved.
Well, it's kind of made for you, right? I mean, in terms of just like, but what did you bring to the character that, this movie is funny, but also goes to some dark places. And there's I don't know if I want to give too much away. There's a scene where you just go on one of the dating apps and basically say, F it, is all I'll say. But tell me more about what you brought to the character.
Yeah. So, the movie's about this young woman who is kind of living a very monotonous, boring, I don't want to say boring, but monotonous life that she's not enjoying. And she's kind of withdrawn from her family and from her friends and her goals. And then she gets this like life-altering diagnosis, which is the premise of the movie. So she decides to say, screw it. And because she only has a week to live, she's going to enact revenge on all the people that have hurt her, big and small. So yeah, it is a pretty, dark subject matter, but it is a comedy. And I guess what I brought to it was just, the fact that like life is always going to be dark and it's about what you, finding the levity in between those moments and finding time to enjoy it with people you love in spite of that. And with Amy, I just, there's so much, all the jokes are so well written. I didn't really have to act the humor. I just had to act truthfully for this young woman in the situation. So I think I brought a lot of myself, and I did a lot of research on women, people who had a certain amount of time to live, and the epiphanies that they had because of that. And so that's kind of what I brought.
Cool. Mark, can we hear you now, or can you hear us? Oh, now we can't hear Mark.
Oh no!
Oh no, you're muted. You're muted. Yeah, Mark, you're muted. Yeah, there you go.
Mark, can you say
Sorry,
hello? Guys. All right, cool. All right, so tell us about the film.
Where do you want to start?
Start at the beginning, just with the premise and whatnot, and what led you to you and I talking about the movie right here and your premiere, which was recently in Los Angeles.
So my producing partner, Howard, and I were coming off of our last film, and we typically get together one lunch when we're in the tail end of production on whatever film we're shooting. Said, what's next? And we start spitballing things from our youth or things that we remember from our parents or siblings. And we remembered a movie called Falling Down with Michael Douglas. Now, most young millennials won't know that movie, but it etched its place in our cinematic lives. And we thought, what if we flipped the script on that? A young millennial woman is going through a similar journey. And then as we started writing the beats, we said, in our case, why don't we show the audience early on why she's falling down? And then why don't we team her up? So there's a Susance of Thelma and Louise meets Falling Down, flip the script for a younger millennial generation. And that's the movie Amy's F It List.
Cool. Well, let's go to questions from our live audience. We have over 600 people watching us live. Question for Alison here: what led you to pursue acting?
It was kind of something I always really wanted to do. I always loved it, and I just turned 18, and I had gotten into college, and I out on the East Coast, and I realized, like, okay, if I don't do it now, if I don't move to LA and pursue it, I don't know if I ever will. So I guess just like youth and ignorance, and I don't know. I wanted to pursue it. I just took a chance.
Cool.
Thank God for your ignorance.
Another question. Greasy Guido asks, I like 616 Wilford Lane. The twist really caught me off guard. Does this movie have any unexpected turns, or it's more straightforward and honest?
Allison?
This movie definitely has a twist.
That's
all I'm going to say.
Yeah. We're talking about the ending, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that would be the big
That's a
twist.
good
Wait till the very end for the twist. With
Yeah.
616, there's a twist that comes about 10 minutes before the ending that really creeps the audience out. This won't creep you out as much as it does blow your mind and make you instantly realize you've just seen a more important movie than you thought you had seen.
Yeah. Solomon Thornton says, I will definitely see this film, not only because Alison is beautiful, but the story is very interesting. So there you go. Question for Mark from Dylan W. Budget. Can you talk budget, Mark?
Yeah, any filmmaker that makes movies on the budget that we make, they have to tap dance around it because there's a lot of beg, borrow, and so there's a real capital out and there's an in kind. So if you watch this movie, it's in kind $1.3 million, but the budget was less than that.
Oh, wow. Okay. War Monkey has a comment, says, plain and basic Amy receives news that suddenly turns her world upside down. Is part of the description on IMDb. I call BS on that plain and basic part, lol. So, there you go. Brock Samsonite says, wait, so it's a dark comedy, not a drama? How would you describe it for both of you?
I'll let you go first, Allison.
Yeah, I would definitely say it's a dark comedy. It's got elements of both, but yeah, it's a dark comedy. I don't know.
Yeah, I'd love to jump in, and Allison, I'm so glad that I get to have you in audience as I say this, because I know you've heard us say it in other rooms before. This movie was always to have that end that makes you realize you've watched a much more important movie. But at the same time, our writing, my producing partner and I, it kind of had a lighter, we'd always swing for the lowest hanging fruit, and it was kind of goofy. And then Allison lays down this one particular scene in the first act of the movie that blew our mind. It completely made us realize that we were making an entirely different movie and should at least lean into that movie rather than the movie that we had started out to make. So a lot of the low-hanging fruit jokes, most of them, not all of them, got cut. And we changed the texture, especially in between anything that was supposed to be comedic. We let Allison and Angel and Cameron James Matthews go with that to make it a little bit heavier than you'd expect. But it's still funny. It's still a fun movie.
Yeah.
There's a lot of heart in this movie, and that's ultimately why I like the movie. And I do also like this idea that because she's only got a week to live, that she's taking the approach of what haven't I done, but the idea of what can I get away with knowing that I'll be dead in a week.
Yeah.
A super chat here from Gabe Toucher for 2 says, holy crap, she's super hot. All right, this is what the chat is saying.
Yeah, he paid for it too. So
to that note, and to the earlier note that said I call BS on plain Amy, like Allison, you are a leading woman. That's why we cast you. You have whatever that je ne sais quoi, whatever that thing is. It was so difficult to put less makeup on or makeup in a different direction and lighter shitty to make her look plain. She jumps out. This person needs to be a star, and indeed she is.
Thank you.
And Gayboy Toucher for 2 says, just a reminder, Allison, it's Alan.
Alan, that's me. That's for me.
Alan, what the heck?
I wasn't in the movie, but
Appion said, does it have a serious character arc? Well, having seen the film, Absolutely. Can you discuss it? It's a, I mean, much more than you would think from watching the trailer. Let's say that.
Yeah, it has two serious character arcs. One, when Allison lays down the aforementioned scene that turns the table on everything. And then another one towards the end that I would say spins it an entirely different character arc.
Yeah. And then another comment here. Thelma and Louise meets Falling Down sounds good. Can't wait to check it out, says Apocalypse Tedium. Lubitsch Touch Me says, both what actors, writers are your biggest inspirations? Question for both of you. Actors and writers, big inspiration.
Allison?
Well, like writers, I mean, not film writers, but I'm on a big Joan Didion kick right now because she just had an exhibit. There was just an exhibition of her work at the Hammer, but that's not film related, so I don't know why I'm talking about that. But actors, Kate Winslet is a really big inspiration for me. Kate Blanchett, and Margot Robbie. I love that she also has her production company, Lucky Chap Entertainment, and I love how captivating she is on screen. So yeah, and then of course, like the Philip Seymour Hoffmans and Daniel Day-Lewis's of the world are no-brainers. But for women, I think it's the Kates and Margot that I love.
Cool. Mark, what about you?
Yeah, you can tell who the deeper person, the one who actually reads in the room from Team Amy's. I like Judd Apatow movies. I think they're funny. I like the Farrelly Brothers. But on that note, a thing that I deeply respect about the Farrelly Brothers is even when they were doing ridiculous comedy, there was still heart in it. They kept. And as you'll see, the Farrelly Brothers too have grown to where they can do drama better than anybody. Not only just drama, but civil rights drama. They are indeed capable of making the world a better place with their movies in that way.
Cool. And then another question here from Solomon Thornton. For both of you, what is the best way for a director to communicate with an actor?
I'll say that it's really flattering as an actor when a director trusts that you just come in with your own ideas and an interpretation and let trust you to do that, and then encourages you to trust yourself. And I think it's much more like vulnerable and real that way, which Mark was really good about. And when he did have adjustments, it felt like suggestions, not like, no, that's not what I want. Can you do this instead? Or say it this line. Like, I think line readings and telling an actor what to do, especially because it's such a vulnerable craft where we're using so much of ourselves, can be hard to take and can lead to like an inauthentic scene. So I think when a director suggests and is encouraging, while also discussing with you their own vision, so you understand that you're serving their idea of the script and not just your own artistic vision, is really important. And Mark was great about that.
Well, yeah, I mean, Team Film Threat, Chris and Alan, like you guys have talked to famous directors up and down the chain. And on that side of my life, I have as well. And I used to call BS when they would say, 90% of directing is getting the right cast. But it's so true. You really, as a director, have to make sure that that person is in the driver's seat that knows how to operate that vehicle. And in this case, how to guide that role. And we more or less had written this character hoping and praying that Allison would say yes. So we did our best to write to what we knew were her strengths and where she might be able to take it or want to take it. And then once she arrived at set, and even in any dialogue we had in pre-production, we said, look, here's what's happening. But if you have a better idea or want to take it even on the day, let us know and we'll adjust the script accordingly or adjust it in post to handle that. So I think just really trusting your actor, letting him do it. And again, I don't think you should make major corrections on the set, especially with your principals. They have it. That's why they're there. And with Allison, she blew us away. This movie has her signature on it as much as any of the writers, any of the producers, or the director.
Question here. What camera did you guys shoot on from Dream Prophet?
We shot on Alexa. And by the way, shout out. I wish you were here right now and you should talk to her sometime as well. Emmy, our director of photography, graduated from honors from AFN. She is an amazing cinematographer. And she too brought a lot of her eye to it. Her signature also on this movie as much as anybody else, any other department.
Cool. And John Orchard for 5 says, thank you for creating an entertaining movie premise. Where can I see it? Thanks, Alan and Chris, for featuring this movie. So where can we see Amy's Effort List?
You can see it on Prime. You can see it on Tubi, Google Play, YouTube Premium, pretty much most of the major video on demands. And then internationally, it pops up in theaters and video on demand as well.
Cool. And Lubitsch Touch Me also asks, is there a physical media release planned?
Absolutely. We just my Zoom right before I jumped on this call was with that team that's creating it, all kinds of extras that we might pop in. There is an alternate ending that we struggled with being in the movie, and it might be included on the Blu-ray. There will be a physical media release in about 90 to 120 days, somewhere in that quarter.
Great. Well, Alison, Mark, I just want to say thank you for joining us on the Film Threat Livecast. Check out Amy's F-It list. Add it to your list of movies to check out on Prime Video and all major video on-demand platforms. And it's
I just have some parting words.
Sure, please.
I love you, Film Threat. I can't believe I'm here.
Great. Hey, thank you, Mark. It's great. And your movie's being distributed by Indie Rights, which is one of the good ones.
Thank you,
Indie
boss.
Rights.
Thank you, Allison.
Thank you
All
guys
right.
so much.
Take care. All right. See you guys soon.
Bye.
Awesome.